There are 1,000 reasons why our lives are not perfect, or at least resemble the life we've always dreamed to have. All of us wish for an easy life free of worry, and we'll do anything to reach that point where we finally meet our set of goals and live happily ever after. But the road to success and happiness will not necessarily be an easy one, and will demand our focus and hard work in every aspect of our lives. This is because the long hours in the office and our exceptionally outstanding work ethic will not be sufficient if our goal is to find true meaning and lasting happiness in our lives. We often underestimate the effect our social life has on our performance and success, and think that if we work hard, never break any law, and do as we're told, that we'll one day be a success. We'll often shrug off how people surrounding us mistreat us. From the time we're little children and bossed around by our teachers to the many different personalities we come across throughout our lives, negative people have been shaping our minds and influencing our thoughts. Most of us will not even be aware of a toxic behavior and the effects it has on our confidence and self-worth. When a close family member or an acquaintance is continuously bringing forward your flaws and putting you down, you should be able to at least recognize the act and understand how it's affecting you. Toxic people will not necessarily be after you all the time, and you might not think much of their occasional narcissistic behavior or extreme displays of emotion. But one thing is for sure, and that's if you keep tolerating this type of relationships, you'll pay for it dearly with your physical and mental well-being by continuously wanting to please others that contribute nothing to your life. And to help you decide, we've put together 10 reasons why you should leave toxic relationships now. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos that we upload every single day. Manipulation. When someone close to you is letting you go on and on about an issue that's important to you, and then go on nitpicking and overwhelming you with details of your flaws and weaknesses in an effort to get you to change your thinking to their advantage, you should be aware of this type of manipulative behavior and protect yourself. They can do this in many different ways, including critical remarks disguised as sarcasm, or ridiculing and dismissing you outright in order to maintain their superiority and keep you doubting yourself without reason. A manipulative person will also use a less aggressive tactic in order to get your sympathy by exaggerating events. They'll use your emotional vulnerability and goodness to get whatever it is they want through their manipulation. If they succeed, they might get you to think and behave exactly as they want you to and get their way without you even noticing. Playing the victim. Toxic people will play the role of a victim every now and then. They'll fabricate or exaggerate circumstances and portray themselves as victims. They're not doing this to simply get sympathy or attention. Their sole purpose is to finally get someone to do things for them. They often find this to be the easiest method to get help and cooperation from others. And if you have someone with great talent for high drama and portrayal of endless dire state that continuously demand your help and make you feel bad if you couldn't provide that one time, consider staying away from such people. Because the truth is that they'll most probably do okay on their own, but they choose not to. Don't fall for this behavior and try to be the rescuer all the time. You're wasting your time and energy you could use for yourself on something that doesn't even exist to please others. No sympathy. People who lack empathy and remorse can really be hurtful and have damaging effects on others through their words and actions. They may be abusive and harsh with their communication or be totally dismissive of someone else's pain. They may even come at you and put you down at your worst time as they are incapable of feeling sorry for others. When you're around such people, you'll have no emotional support, creating a toxic environment that can have a terrible effect on your emotional well-being. It can be very hard to deal with your loss or grief on your own, but it's even harder to see the people around you ignoring your pain or worse, celebrating your downfall. As humans, we need positive social interactions that can help us go through tough times. Having support or feeling loved and needed by others is also important. So it makes sense to avoid people who do the opposite for us. Emotional blackmail. People who use guilt trips and emotional blackmail to get what they want will cause problems for you and other people in your life. They'll make you feel like you're not doing enough or like you're failing them in order to control your behavior. They may even threaten you and make you feel guilty for no reason. You should be aware of this painful and dysfunctional pattern of abuse in order to escape it. These people are mostly close to you and know all your weaknesses, allowing them to easily understand what upsets you and use it against you. Sometimes the person blackmailing you will do nice things and subtle bribes so that you begin to feel obligated to them. And once they make you feel like they're doing something for you, then you can't help but return a favor. The problem is you'll have no idea how big that favor can be, and in most cases it will be big and something that will cost you one way or another. Pessimism. Some people are completely unable to enjoy anything in life. They're negative about everything and can drag other people along with them with their cynicism and negative energy. This kind of pessimism, of only focusing on the worst aspect of things, can create a toxic living and work environment. When someone like this is around you all the time, you're reminded of all that could go wrong in the world and can bring feelings of hopelessness. They'll continuously anticipate undesirable outcomes and will not give positive events in their lives much attention. This can rub off on other people as well. That's why you shouldn't allow these thoughts and behaviors to shape your feelings, because allowing this could potentially turn you into the Debbie Downer you've always hated. You should always label their thinking as their own and protect your independent take on things. Passive aggression. Toxic people will often think that their not so aggressive jabs towards others go unnoticed. This kind of indirect hostility can be damaging if you do not put an end to it at some point. It can be hard to confront them at first because they haven't actually been downright aggressive. This is because they're demonstrations of negative feelings and resentment done in a passive manner. But this can have the same effects as someone actually being aggressive and rude. And if you're around someone with bitterness and hostility that displays his or her emotion with passive aggressions, you have to get away from such people, as they'll find ways to get under your skin and make you miserable. Inconsistent. When people are inconsistent with the way they are with you, it can create confusion and may even affect your self-worth if the person is a love interest. They are sometimes extremely friendly and attentive and cold and distant other times. And whatever their reason may be, you should be careful not to rely on them because of their occasional friendly displays, as they might disappoint you at some point. Inconsistency is not only a sign of loss of motivation, it could well be that this particular person in your life disregards your needs and is only focused on what they can get from you while your friendship lasts. When this happens, be careful not to be taken advantage of and not to get attached to such people, because you basically have no idea when your relationship might end. People who say one thing and do another are not your friends and definitely not worth your time. And the sooner you realize this, the better. Selfishness. This is not the normal self-involved person that put their happiness above all. A toxic person can be the type that only exists to use and abuse people. And unless that person is an elderly relative who needs your help, you shouldn't allow an able-bodied friend of yours to take advantage of your generosity. Selfish people will always look out for their needs and dismiss other people's. And as long as they get their way, they'll not care about what others lost in the process. Cut these people off your life in order to avoid regret and hurt in the future. Never admit defeat. A toxic person will never admit you're better than them in anything. They'll not admit defeat even if they've clearly lost in a conversation. They'll keep a stubborn attitude and are unable to acknowledge another person's views. This need to always be right can create problems in people's relationships and can be very difficult to deal with. When someone continuously tries to prove they know everything and try to put you and your ideas down, it's not only because they're disrespectful, but it's also because they enjoy embarrassing others and are unable to gracefully admit defeat. So unless you have a technique that works with dealing with such people, avoiding hot topics that could lead to arguments is your best shot here. Too controlling. If someone is trying to control everything that's happening in some other person's life, it can through time turn into abuse manifested in many different ways. It can be sexual abuse, financial abuse, or psychological abuse by controlling and manipulating the way the other person thinks. Abusive people will often gain and maintain control over the other person in order to get them to think like they're worthless without them. This is just basically to exploit and intimidate the other person. When you notice someone around you is trying to control your life and manipulate you for their own selfish reasons, you should be able to speak up and never let anyone tell you what to do, especially if that someone is doing it to exploit and use you for their benefit. Well, it may be very difficult to simply cut off people that have been in your life for years, and you should probably talk to them about your feelings before taking any drastic action. But if you don't notice any change in their behavior, you have all the right in the world to stay away from them and give yourself a shot at happiness. Don't forget to share your ideas and experiences down in the comment section below, and tell us if you agree with our list. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button, and click on the bell to be notified for our daily content, and thanks for watching.